Hey folks, I'm just going to try and come on here and do a little video because I haven't done one for a little while, just to sort of say a few words and tell you about where I've been at these past few months and what I've been trying to do. And what I've been trying to do is keep myself on a very positive vibe. And quite frankly, it's not been always all that easy. But actually, if you kind of persevere, I believe you can get a spiral going, almost not like a vicious circle, like a positive spiral, and keep it sort of going so that the negativity that you will kind of attract as you kind of change, you'll be able to spin it off. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, when you change how you are, a lot of people around you will suddenly have a reaction to you because you've been stuck in the same old groove for a long time, and as you change there will be a reaction. I mean, the first situation that I noticed when I changed was a situation with somebody at work. I started to get very positive about my business because I'd realised that I'd been really negative about it for a long time, almost sort of subconsciously. You know, if you've ever worked for yourself, you'll know that it's quite hard going, and there's only you that's got to keep generating the positivity all the time. And I kind of got into this habit of moaning with a co-worker. Oh God, now this has happened. Oh, now that's happened, and generally being negative. And gradually then I started to become positive, and the other person didn't like it because they're used to playing the game of poor me, ain't it awful? And you'll get little, attacks. And when you get those attacks, you have to then get firm and stick to your own positivity and not let the sort of attacks that come affect you, and kind of like spiral yourself on. And those people realise this is the new me. We're staying like this. We're keeping positive. And you'll probably find that this will affect one or two other people around you that you've probably, had dealings with, because you've been the same old for a long time. And when you change and get more positive, people don't always like it. However, there's always a lesson to be learnt from this. And I always try and think, well, what did I sort of put out to, did I sort of do this, did I do that? Just got to move on. Even if people sometimes can seem quite unkind towards you. We have to realise that everything in some way is a reaction to something we've put out, and try and learn from our experiences and be emotionally strong. Now, I'll just give you a couple of other little examples, some of which are very insignificant. One typical example of how subtly people can affect you even without you realising it. This is only on a very small level. I go every couple of weeks with a friend of mine, Carol, to Melton, and we go and have a coffee in this cafe where the waitress was exceptionally rude, and the chap who runs the cafe is lovely. And it used to really wind me up that this chap's working very hard in his cafe, and then she comes along and just takes your order and can hardly bring herself to speak to you. Anyway, it used to really wind me up, and I'd be sort of glaring back at her. And but Carol, oh yes, lovely, that's fine. She was always so nice to this girl. Anyway, one week we're going, and I said, oh, I suppose we're going to meet, Madame Butterfly in this cafe. How do you manage to be so nice to her? Why are you nice to her? She says, well, I refuse to let her bring me down to her level. So, even though I do that, hopefully try and do it in a lot of things, it's amazing how subtly it can suck you in situations you don't even realise. So I went to the cafe, and I'm nice to her, even though it was really difficult for me to say, oh, yes, even though she's unfriendly. And it had an effect on her. So we've affected her. We've affected her, and she will hopefully then be better with other customers. Whereas we could have let her negative energy affect us, and then we're grumpy, and the whole thing goes down. I don't know if you watch Danny Wiltens, but if you don't on YouTube, I suggest you do. And he has done obviously stacks of videos, and they're fantastic. But one particular video he did was a chap was talking, it was a recording of this chap, I don't know who it was, and he was saying how we are all like interconnected parts of a net. If you imagine a fishing net, where the crisscrosses join, we are all standing on those joins. And if you imagine them being suspended like that, and then you put your finger in and the whole lot, you know, one point goes down, it affects all the others. And this is where we're at. You know, if we let ourselves go down, we bring all the people with us that's connected. And this chap in this recording was saying how, you know, if people are very negative and kick off, they bring other people around them down. And then they bring other people around them down. And the effects, the ripple effects out from this one negative person is very, very disruptive, more than just the one person that they're just kicking off at. It's so true. And the thing is, likewise with the other effect, if you're nice and positive, your energy ripples out far beyond, you know, what you probably think it's rippled out. You see, there's a lot of things that we could be worrying about all the time in this world that we can't really do anything about. I mean, the list's endless. But what we can do something about is our own mental state and keeping ourselves on a nice vibration. And that's what I've tried to do, but really you have to be careful that when you do start to do that, other people may not like it. And don't let what you can get, the backlash negative effect from other people sort of put you back down to where you were. It's quite a toughie to keep going on that spiral of positivity, and it can be sad, you know, because ultimately, you know, when you change, well, you know, sometimes you have to change in a positive fashion, and the people that sometimes you have to sort of like, some people will move on, and then but you'll attract people that are on a more vibrational, if you like, similarity, because like does attract like. And we are living in a mental universe. We have to create our own reality. And have I just mentioned in this video that I heard on the radio a couple of weeks ago that the crime wave in the UK had actually fallen again? Because they don't shout about that from the tabloid papers, not on the front pages, not loudly, you know, on the mainstream media news, which mostly I don't believe in, because it's all, a lot of it is very manipulated to bring us down. So the crime rate is coming down. Now, I don't know if you know, but in the 60s, the Maharishi Yogi, who the Beatles used to hang around with, he did this thing called transcendental meditation. And when they got all these people doing transcendental meditation, if you get 1% of the population in a town, village, whatever, doing it, the crime rate falls. That's a fact. 100th monkey effect. So don't think you're doing nothing by being positive, because these are the benefits. You're going to affect all the people around you, who are going to affect all the people around them. You're going to raise the planetary consciousness in your own little way. And the other thing is, quite frankly, you're going to have a more happy life. And, you know, we could spend all our life worrying. Nothing might happen of all, you know, the negative things that we're worrying about. We've just spent our lives being miserable, worrying about stuff we can't do anything about. In the main, we can do the little bits we can do. That's fine. We can't worry about not being able to, the big problems, we can't worry about them. Lots of people probably would think that's terribly irresponsible and selfish and blah 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 blah. But to be honest with you, I honestly think that it is doing far more of a service to ourselves, to the people around us, the planetary consciousness. We are creating our own reality, and co-creation in the 9th wave. So anyway, there you go folks. I hope that's not been too waffly for you. Thank you.